Today we are here at the beautiful Bridgeview Center in Ottumwa, Iowa, and I have an amazing guest with me, so Hollie Tometich, and we have been friends for how many years?
Probably close to 20.
Close to 20 years because we both worked at the hospital here in town for many years together. And so if you could just go ahead and give everybody a little bit of a background about you, tell a little bit about you.
Sure. So I'm Hollie Tometich, and I work at the Legacy Foundation as a Vice President of Community Leadership. And within that realm, I run the Ottumwa Leadership Academy, and I've been doing that for 14 years. And so that's a majority of my work, and then I'm also a life and leadership coach as well.
And we're both John Maxwell team members.
Yes, we are.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So since you are a leader, I wanted to ask you, in one word, how would you describe an energized leader?
Yeah, so an energized leader to me is someone who's authentic.
Expound upon that.
And the reason is if you're living in authenticity, your energy is going to a place where you are trying to adjust to whomever you're around, adjust to your environment. And so when you're living in your authentic self, that energy is self-focused. It's being who you are, and it's not like there's not an energy leak, so to speak.
Oh, I like that, energy leak. So in all the years that you worked around leaders and so many people, I mean, wouldn't you say there are a lot of times you've met people that aren't very authentic?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And honestly, when I was a young leader, that was me, right? I was trying to figure out, who am I in this space?
Yeah.
I'm now a leader at a unit at the hospital and trying to figure out who I am. And so you have to learn who you are before you can be authentic. And
True.
so it is a little bit of a journey. And so giving yourself grace, knowing that it is a journey, and then getting to that point where you're like, this is who I am, and standing firm in that.
And you can work better, feel better, and again, have that energy when you know really who you are.
Yes, for sure.
All right, so here's our next question. What does an energized workplace culture look like to you?
It's a supportive culture. Again, that authentic piece has to come in where people feel safe to be themselves. And also there's this camaraderie of support for the person, not just the position.
That is so very true. All right, third question. When your leadership battery is running low, what's your go-to recharge strategy?
Nature.
Oh, yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, so whether that's during the summer, we like to go boating, so just being on the water, getting out in the timber for a walk, or even in the winter, we get in our side-by-side and we just ride. And so just being out, especially, I have to get out of the house because there's always something to do. There's either work to be done for the house or work to be done for my business. So just getting away from all that, stepping out and being somewhere where I can see out into nature.
Well, first of all, the vitamin D is going to make you feel better.
Yes.
But unplugging is very important for people in leadership roles, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I also advocate for people to take themselves on a date.
Oh, nice.
So you take yourself out to dinner, you take yourself out to lunch, and sometimes those are the best dates.
I thought you were going to say take your husband out on a
No!
date. Oh, okay.
Not
Listen,
that that's a
everybody.
bad strategy, but
Okay, now listen, everybody. I love this. This is your instructions for the week. You need to go on a date with yourself.
yes, 100%.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I like to have that alone time, enjoy a good meal. I mean, don't scrimp. Like, take yourself out.
Nice.
Do it up good. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to do that. All right, here's the next question. Well, tell you what, before I go to the next question, a couple weeks ago, I was honored to come to one of your sessions with your participants of your Leadership Academy, and you do that every year, right? So just say just a little bit about that so they'll understand why I'm going to say what I'm going to say.
Yeah, so we have a public relations communication day, and we invite media folks in to do interviews, and so they get that experience ahead of time before there's a microphone in your face to ask you about XYZ as a leader, and so they get that experiential time.
But the students that you have, how often do you meet with those students?
Yeah, so we meet with them once a month for a full day, and it's a school year essentially, so September through June.
Yeah. And so when they're all done, what is the result that you hope to have?
Yeah, their growth, right? So seeing how they grow. And everybody's a little different. Sometimes it's, okay, now I understand the community better and I know where I want to plug in. I say that's the ultimate goal of the academy, but then the professional side of that is understanding what I needed to do as a professional to grow. I've had people say, I never thought I could speak in front of 100 people, and I did it at graduation.
Wow.
And so it's just like seeing that growth, that's always probably my most rewarding aspect, seeing and hearing from them like what was best for them.
And what I also love about the academy here in our town that you put on is the I wonder if we're going to hear that. Okay. Okay. Well, let's start that again. And I'll try not to laugh. Okay, here we go. All right, focus. Woo. Okay. Oh, goodness. I don't know why that struck me so funny. So the Leadership Academy that you have here in Ottumwa, Iowa, I love the fact that so many businesses, so many leaders in town, they support it. I mean, they send people from their organization. And so how many years have you been doing that?
This is your number 14.
Number 14. And so have you ever thought about the impact that you've had on this community? So 14 times how many people in each one?
So we have around 285 graduates right now before this class.
And just think how they're impacting the city because of what you've been able to do. That's pretty incredible.
It's an honor, honestly. It's a privilege to be able to walk alongside folks that are developing and, again, becoming authentically themselves, as well as understanding where they fit in or where they want to create new avenues for leadership in our community.
And the other thing I love about it is this: those leaders that sent those employees to your academy, they truly understand the power of professional development. So many companies don't send people to anything. And so to me, their company is going to remain stagnant. And when these leaders provide this professional development, they truly care about their people, is what I think.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah,
they do. And a lot of them are have to be very selective because there's so many that want to participate.
Yeah.
And we take 2 or 3 maybe from any one organization, depending on the year. And so sometimes they have a waiting list of folks that want that professional development. And so
that's
they really
incredible.
encourage people to apply within their organization to apply, then they can pass on the application to us.
Well, when I was here, my job was to interview them, just like we're doing right now. And, a lot of them were a little nervous, I will say, but I love the responses that I got from them. And so I actually brought some of those and you read those. And so what was interesting to you when I asked them, what do you think an energized leader is? What was the main response?
Yeah, the main response is passionate.
Yeah.
That an energized leader is passionate, or they have passion, that they inspire others with their passion for, whatever they're leading.
So because of that, I actually looked up the definition. I'm a geek when it comes to words, and I look up definitions all the time. And the definition of passion is genuine joy in daily tasks, going beyond just working for a paycheck. It involves high engagement, intense focus, and a willingness to overcome challenges. Passionate employees often show great enthusiasm.
Yeah, so they were really spot on.
They were.
With an energized leader.
Yeah, really. And so the fact that they recognize that that's an important skill for a leader to have, I thought that was very, very interesting, that a good portion of those people. Do you think they picked that up from your sessions?
Well, I hope they see that I always have a dean every year.
Yeah.
And this year's dean is Dr. Jeff Hendred.
Oh,
and
he's about the most passionate guy in this town.
He is.
Oh,
and so
my
I
goodness.
hope that, we're modeling passionate leadership.
Yeah.
And hopefully there's something that's gotten modeled there.
Yeah.
I think with Jeff, they've seen that.
Oh, that's okay. Well, I can see now isn't that interesting? Because how you lead is contagious.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so some other things that I highlighted about an energized leader, they said things like they keep your spirits up, keeping everyone together in high spirits. Even if they see negativity, they turn it around as positive. And then let's see what else they said. Upbeat positivity sparks energy in other people. And so those are, again, incredible characteristics of a leader.
Yeah.
And then one other thing that I wanted to mention, I guess a couple more things. An energized leader goes through the trenches with you.
Oh, yeah, that's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because if an energized leader is going through the trenches with you, they have enough energy to share, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're down in the dumps and when you're like really in the muck of the work, and your energy is tanking,
Yeah.
and your leader comes alongside of you and lets you kind of ride kind of their coattails or inspires you with their energy, that's just what that was about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're also going to be able to see through your lens when they're going through the trenches with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then another thing that they said was one particular guy was telling how on his first day of work, people asked questions about him. And so he thought, wow, they're really interested in me. I always think about a time when I got a job and my boss literally, and it was a temporary job. I was there 3 months, and my boss never, ever once asked me, are you married? Do you have kids? What do you do when you're not here? Never asked one question. And I always thought, maybe she didn't like me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah.
Well, one of the tenets that I believe in completely and that I also talk about with Leadership Academy and others is leadership is relationship.
It is.
And if you aren't building a relationship with your team, you're not really leading well.
Yeah. The relationships, to me, should be like the foundation.
Yes.
Yeah, so important. Okay, so let me go back to some other questions for you. If you could go back in time and change anything as a leader yourself, what would that be?
Yeah. So as a young leader, one of the things when we think about like conflict resolution and hard discussions and things like that,
Ew.
yeah, that's a hard work, right?
Yeah.
Is whoever came to me first obviously had the right story.
Oh.
So I wish if I were if I could go back, I would say to my younger self, don't always believe the first story.
Yeah.
Right. The first story is not the full truth. It's one person's perspective of the situation. And so a lot of times I had that lens early on of, well, whoever told me first really is probably coming to me with the truth versus their version of the truth.
Yeah. And that probably would prompt you to keep your mouth shut until it was all said and done. And then you were able to speak with wisdom. Yeah. Oh, that's really good advice. All right, how do you energize people around you during tough seasons? I mean, we know that what you do personally, but what do you do for other people when maybe they're going through tough seasons, coworkers especially?
Yeah, I try to, again, I think it goes back to relationship and listen and encourage, right?
Yeah.
And we're all going to have circumstances in life.
Yeah.
That a circumstance is just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But what we think and feel about it is what makes a difference.
Yeah.
And so if I can encourage them in any way to just, well, what are your thoughts about this? Is there something else that would be more empowering than the thoughts that you're having now? Then, hopefully they feel more energized because they can control what they can control and not the circumstance.
I love the title of one of John Maxwell's books is Great Leaders Ask Great Questions. And so asking questions, even just, it's a simple question, is a great way, even just to encourage to somebody, just say, hey, how are you?
Right.
How you doing today?
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah.
All right, okay, so this one is, what role does laughter and humor play in the role of a leader?
Yeah.
Because, but with us both working at the hospital as many years as we did, we saw a lot of CEOs come and go.
Yep.
And don't you think there was a big difference between a lot of those
Oh,
CEOs?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And do you think some had a sense of humor and some did
for
not?
sure.
Yeah. So how do you feel about humor and laughter in the role of a leader?
Yeah, it's vital, right? If you can, even in the heaviness of a hospital, when there's life and death, or I worked in the wound center, limb loss, right? I mean,
Yeah.
how can we also find fun, not in the circumstance, but with each other? How can
Yeah.
we? Because work can get heavy no matter where you work.
Right.
The circumstances can get heavy. So if you can't have fun and show that you can laugh together and do things that aren't fun, like having fun energizes you,
Right.
right? And so I think it's vital.
Yeah. And you have to be intentional about doing that.
Correct.
Yeah, because you get so caught up with the busyness and with life, and like the unit you worked on, it could be a real downer. But again, just saying something funny, or maybe sharing a joke, or there's so many different things that you can do, and that's a whole session in itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so important for a leader to be able to create some humor and laughter. I love what Bob Ross says. He says, a leader without a sense of humor is like a lawnmower in a cemetery. You have a lot of people underneath you, but nobody is listening.
Right.
So yeah, that laughter component is very important.
Yeah.
All right, so if you could give every leader one piece of advice, the best advice that you could give them, what would it be?
It's a great question. Get a coach.
Oh.
Get a coach.
Now explain why a coach is very important. I will have to say, as a speaker, I have probably had like 5 coaches in my career.
Yeah.
And so you have to be very particular. And so explain why a coach is very valuable to have in a career.
So as a leader, oftentimes, again, the circumstances outweigh some of the discernment or evaluation of what's going on in our own heads and our own brain, right? And sometimes, we just get in our own way.
Yeah.
A lot of times, regardless of your position, we just get in our own way.
Yeah.
And as a leader, there's so much coming at you that if you don't take that intentional time to sit down with someone who's going to ask you the questions that for whatever reason you're not asking yourself, whether that's just you're not cognizant of the questions that you should be asking yourself, or you should be asking yourself, but I'll put that off another day.
Yeah.
Having that intentional time to really reflect, come up with what it is you're thinking, how you can change your thoughts and actions into something that then propels your leadership forward.
Yeah. And it's almost like your private professional development person in your life.
Absolutely.
Because they're going to help you grow.
Yes.
And again, if you're not growing in your business and mainly professionally, you're going to remain stagnant.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to end with the fun last question.
Okay.
Are you ready for the fun
Yeah.
last question? Okay, so over the last, let's say, couple months, I don't know, 6 months or whatever, what is a really great movie or book or even a gadget that you have bought?
Okay. So something, I didn't buy it, but for Christmas, my kids got me a vinyl record player.
Oh.
And so I got a stack of my parents' old records.
Yeah.
And the kids bought me some new ones. And I just have been playing records nonstop as I'm in my office at home working. And it is such a delight. And I love it.
Now, isn't there, I as a kid had a record player. And so it's very nostalgic. And I actually got my husband a record player a couple years ago, and I don't know if he's used it very much, but you make me think that it would be a good idea if I go and start playing records, because I think just the actual pulling the record out, putting it on, putting the needle on it, pushing the button, there's just something real nostalgic and comforting about that.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
really
that.
Is. So that's probably my favorite kind of gadget right now.
I love that. Well, you just mentioned coaching, so I want the whole world to know that you are a coach, and so tell everyone how anybody can reach you, because if you need coaching, she is amazing. She will do a wonderful job helping you go to the next level. So tell everybody how they can get a hold of you.
So it's Hollie Tometich on Instagram. So Hollie.
And I'll have it in the, I'll have it in the show notes.
Yeah, so my name is spelled very weird and it's very complicated. I'm an IE for Hollie. So you can find me on Instagram. That's my primary way. You can also find me on LinkedIn. And I have a link in my bio for, getting a hold of me.
Okay. Well, we'll make sure, definitely, those will be in the show notes. And again, you have been a wonderful guest. Love you to pieces. Thank you so much for being on the Energized Leader Podcast.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.